There is a special meeting planned tomorrow night after national experts deemed the Adams County Courthouse unsafe during a virtual town hall last week. You will remember it's all because of the mold problem we've been telling you about.
And WGEM's Raja Maples is live at the courthouse with a closer look at the chronic illness that's at the very center of this inspection and the debate. Raja?
That's right, Daniel. We are dark at the Adams County Courthouse as people pull away from the river for that fantastic July 4th celebration. But tomorrow night will be anything but a celebration as people walk through these doors on the west end of the courthouse and talk about mold. Let's talk about that illness regarding that mold that they found, chronic inflammatory response syndrome, also known as CIRS. Now, some people refer to it as sick building syndrome. That illness is a result of mold exposure. It can cause a number of inflammatory responses and symptoms, including death.
And it's a very debilitating condition, and it really has severe consequences on people's lives.
Some of the world's top experts in chronic inflammatory response syndrome, or CIRS, attended last week's virtual town hall meeting surrounding the Adams County Courthouse. They've become experts in biotoxins and their effects on the human body, going beyond traditional science and medicine.
This is a real illness. The problem is many physicians are not aware of this because some of the journals that we've published in are not ones that they happen to read.
Most people don't realize it, but there's a real distinction between what we call traditional and inflammatory investigations and health effects.
Dr. Scott McMahon says pay attention to multi-system illness, not just respiratory issues.
If it's affecting multiple different areas of your body, so you're having fatigue and headaches and stomach issues and eye issues and other issues, you're urinating 10 to 15 times a day, if you're having all sorts of different problems, it could be a number of different diseases, or it could all be the one chronic inflammatory response syndrome.
Now, mental health symptoms such as depression, anxiety, brain fog, even suicidal tendencies can also result as a result of CIRS. 70 out of the more than 100 employees who work here at the courthouse have reported symptoms. Daniel.
All right, thank you, Raja. Tomorrow night's special county board meeting is at 7 p.m. in the county board room. We'll show you what happens tomorrow night right here on WGEM News at 10.